in order to bring that into reality, you have to solve a lot of the OS problems to make sure it works when you're integrating the AI into the whole thing. So everything you do launches an agent that answers some basic question
It's a
for
good
you.
moonshot. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's crazy.
No, but I think we are, but it's much closer to reality than other moonshots. We expect to have glasses in the hands of developers later this year, and in consumer science next year. So it's an exciting time.
Yeah, well, extremely well executed. Beam, all the stuff, because sometimes you don't know. Like somebody commented on a top comment on one of the demos of Beam. They said this will either be killed off in 5 weeks or revolutionize all meetings in 5 years. And there's very much Google tries so many things and sometimes sadly kills off very promising projects, but because there's so many other things to focus on. I use so many Google products. Google Voice I still use. I'm so glad that's not being killed off. That's still alive. Thank you, whoever's defending that, because it's awesome, and it's great they keep innovating. I just want to list off just as a big thank you. So search, obviously, Google revolutionized Chrome, and all of these could be multi-hour conversations. Gmail, I've been singing Gmail praises forever. Maps, incredible technological innovation on revolutionizing mapping. Android, like we talked about. YouTube, like we talked about. AdSense. Google Translate for the academic mind. Google Scholar is incredible with the book, and also the scanning of the books. So making all the world's knowledge accessible, even when that knowledge is a kind of niche thing, which Google Scholar is. And then obviously with DeepMind, with AlphaZero, AlphaFold, Alpha Evolve. I could talk forever about Alpha Evolve. That's mind blowing. All of that released, and as part of that set of things you've released in this year, when those brilliant articles were written about Google is done. Uh, and like we talked about, pioneering self driving cars and quantum computing, which could be another thing that is low key, is scuba diving. Its way to changing the world forever. So another pothead slash micro kitchen question: if you build AGI, what kind of question would you ask it? What would you want to talk about? Definitively, Google has created AGI that can basically answer any question. What topic are you going to? What where's it? Where are you going?
It's a great question. Maybe it's proactive by then and should tell me a few things I should know. But I think if I were to ask it, I think it'll help us understand ourselves much better, um, in a way that'll surprise us, I think. Um, and so maybe you already see people do it with the products. And so, but, in an AGI context, I think that'll be pretty powerful.
On a personal level or general human nature?
At a personal level, like
Okay,
you
so
talking to
oh wow,
AGI,
yeah.
I think, there is some chance it'll kind of understand you in a very deep way. I think in a profound way. That's a possibility. I think there is also the obvious thing of like maybe it helps us understand the universe better. In a way that expands the frontiers of our understanding of the world. That is something super exciting. But look, I really don't know. I think I haven't had access to something that powerful yet. But I think those are all possibilities.
I think on the personal level, asking questions about yourself could a sequence of questions like that about what makes me happy. I think we would be very surprised to learn through those kind of a sequence of questions and answers. We might explore some profound truths in the way that sometimes art reveals to us, great books reveal to us, great conversations with loved ones reveal things that are obvious in retrospect, but are nice when they're said. But for me, number one question is about how many alien civilizations are there. 100%. Are they? How
That's going to
many?
be a first question.
Number one, how many living and dead alien civilizations? Maybe a bunch of follow-ups like how close are they? Are they dangerous? If there's no alien civilizations, why? Or if there's no advanced alien civilizations but bacteria like life everywhere, why? What is the barrier preventing it from getting to that? Is it because that there's when you get sufficiently intelligent, you end up destroying ourselves because you need competition in order to develop an advanced civilization, and when you have competition, it's going to lead to military conflict, and conflict eventually kills everybody. I don't know. I'm going to have that kind of
Get an
discussion.
answer to the Fermi paradox. Yeah.
Exactly, and like have a real discussion about it. I'm not sure if it's I'm realizing now with your answer is a more productive answer because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that information, but maybe it speaks to the general human curiosity that Liz talked about, that we're all just really curious, and making the world's information accessible allows our curiosity to be satiated some. With AI, even more. We can be more and more curious and learn more about the world, about ourselves. And in so doing, I always wonder if, I don't know if you can comment on, like, is it possible to measure the, not the GDP productivity increase like we talked about, but maybe whatever that increases, the breadth and depth of human knowledge that Google has unlocked with Google search, and now with AI mode with Gemini, is a difficult thing to measure.
Many years ago, there was I think it was an MIT study. They just estimated the impact of Google search, and they basically said it's the equivalent to, on a per person basis, it's few thousands of dollars per year per person, right? Like it's the value that got created per year, right? And but it's tough to capture these things, right? Like you kind of take it for granted as these things come, and the frontier keeps moving. But how do you measure the value of something like AlphaFold over time, right? And so on. So it's
And also the increasing quality of life when you learn more. I have to say, like, with some of the programming I do done by AI, for some reason I'm more excited to program.
yeah.
And so the same with knowledge, with discovering things about the world. It makes you more excited to be alive. It makes you more curious and it keeps, the more curious you are, the more exciting it is to live and experience the world. And it's very hard to, I don't know if that makes you more productive. It probably not nearly as much as it makes you happy to be alive. And that's a hard thing to measure. The quality of life increases, some of these things do. As AI continues to get better and better at everything that humans do, what do you think is the biggest thing that makes us humans special?
Look, I think it's tough to. I mean, the essence of humanity. There's something about you know the consciousness we have, what makes us uniquely human. Maybe the lines will blur over time, and it's tough to articulate. But hopefully, we live in a world where if you make resources more plentiful and make the world lesser of a zero-sum game over time, right? And which it's not, but in a resource-constrained environment, people perceive it to be, right? And and so I hope the values of what makes us uniquely human, empathy, kindness, all that surfaces more is the aspirational hope I have.
Yeah, it multiplies the compassion, but also the curiosity, just the banter, the debates we'll have about the meaning of it all. And I also think in the scientific domains, all the incredible work that DeepMind is doing, I think we'll still continue to play, to explore scientific questions, mathematical questions, physics questions, even as AI gets better and better at helping us solve some of the questions. Sometimes the question itself is a really difficult thing.
Both the right new questions to ask and the answers to them, and the self-discovery process which it'll drive, I think. Our early work with both co-scientists and Alpha Evolve is just super exciting to see.
What gives you hope about the future of human civilization?
Look, I'm an optimist, and I look at if you were to say you take the journey of human civilization, it's been, we've relentlessly made the world better, right, in many ways. At any given moment in time, there are big issues to work through. It may look, but I always ask myself the question: would you have been born now or any other time in the past? I most often, not most often, almost always would rather be born now, right? And so that's the extraordinary thing the human civilization has accomplished, right? And and we've kind of constantly made the world a better place. And so something tells me, as humanity, we always rise collectively to drive that frontier forward. So I expect it to be no different in the future.
I agree with you totally. I'm truly grateful to be alive in this moment, and I'm also really excited for the future and the work you and the incredible teams here are doing is one of the big reasons I'm excited for the future. So thank you. Thank you for all the cool products you've built. And please don't kill Google Voice. Thank you, Sundar.
We won't, yeah.
Thank you for talking today. This was incredible. Thank you.
Real pleasure. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this conversation with Sundar Pichai. To support this podcast, please check out our sponsors in the description or at lexfriedman.com/sponsors. Shortly before this conversation, I got a chance to get a couple of demos that frankly blew my mind. The engineering was really impressive. The first demo was Google Beam, and the second demo was the XR glasses. And some of it was caught on video, so I thought I would include here some of those video clips.
Hey Lex, my name's Andrew. I lead the Google Beam team, and we're going to be excited to show you a demo. We're going to show you, I think, a glimpse of something new. So that's the idea, a way to connect, a way to feel present from anywhere with anybody you care about. Here's Google Beam. This is a development platform that we've built. So there's a prototype here of Google Beam. There's one right down the hallway. I'm going to go down and turn that on in a second. We're going to experience it together. We'll be back in the same room.
Wonderful. Whoa, okay.
Here we are. All
Okay.
right.
This is real already. Wow.
This is real. Good to see you. This is Google Beam. We're trying to make it feel like you and I could be anywhere in the world, but when these magic windows open, we're back together. I see you exactly the same way you see me. It's almost like we're sitting at the table, sharing a table together. I could learn from you, talk to you, share a meal with you, get to know you.
So you can feel the depth of this.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Wow. So for people who probably can't even imagine what this looks like, there's a 3D version. It looks real. You look real.
It looks to me, it looks real to you.
It looks like you're coming out of the screen.
We quickly believe, once we're in Beam, that we're just together. Like you settle into it, you're naturally attuned to seeing the world like this, and you just get used to seeing people this way. But literally from anywhere in the world with these magic screens.
This is incredible.
So it's a neat technology.
Wow. So I saw demos of this, but they don't come close to the experience of this. Yeah, I think one of the top YouTube comments on one of the demos I saw was like, why would I want a high definition? Like, I'm trying to turn off the camera, but this actually is, this feels like the camera's been turned off and we're just in the same room together. This is really compelling.
That's right. I know it's kind of late in the day too, so I brought you a snack just in case you're a little bit hungry. But
so what? Can you push it farther and it just becomes?
Let's try to float it between rooms. You know, it kind of fades it from my room into yours.
And then you see my hand, the depth of my hand.
Of course, yeah.
Wow.
Of course, yeah. It feels like you try this. Try give me a high five, and there's almost a sensation of human touch.
Yeah.
You almost feel.
Yes.
Because you're so attuned to, that should be a high five. Feeling like you could connect with somebody that way. So it's kind of a magical experience.
Oh, this is really nice. How much does it cost?
Yeah, with you, we've got a lot of companies testing it. We just announced that we're going to be bringing it to offices soon as a set of products. We've got some companies helping us build these screens. But eventually, I think this will be in almost every screen.
There's nothing, I'm not wearing anything. Well, I'm wearing a suit and tie, to clarify. I am wearing clothes. This is not CGI. But outside of that, cool. And the audio is really good. And you can see me in the same three-dimensional way.
Yeah, the audio is spatialized. So if I'm talking from here, of course, it sounds like I'm talking from here. If I move to the other side of the room.
Wow.
So these little subtle cues, these really matter to bring people together. All the nonverbals, all the emotion, the things that are lost today, here it is. We put it back into the system.
You pulled this off. Holy shit, they pulled it off. And integrated into this, I saw the translation also. Right, this is
we've got a bunch of things. Let me show you a couple kind of cool things. Let's do a little bit of work together. Maybe we could critique one of your latest. So, it's you and I work together. So, of course, we're in the same room. But with this superpower, I can bring other things in here with me. And it's nice. It's like we could sit together. We could watch something. We could work. We've shared meals as a team together in this system. But once you do the presence aspect of this, you want to bring some other superpowers to it.
And so you could review code together.
Yeah, exactly. I've got some slides I'm working on. Maybe you could help me with this. Keep your eyes on me for a second. I'll slide back into the center. I didn't really move, but the system just kind of puts us in the right spot and knows where we need to be.
So you just turn to your laptop, the system moves you, and then it does the overlay automatically.
It kind of morphs the room to put things in the spot that they need to be in. Everything has a place in the room. Everything has a sense of presence or spatial consistency, and that kind of makes it feel like we're together with us and other things.
I should also say, you're not just three-dimensional. It feels like you're leaning like out of the screen. You're like coming out of the screen. You're not just in that world three-dimensional. Yeah, exactly. Holy crap. Move back to center.
So,
Okay.
Let me tell you how this works. You probably already have the premise of it, but there's two things. Two really hard things that we put together. One is a AI video model. So there's a set of cameras. You asked kind of about those earlier. There's 6 color cameras, just like webcams that we have today, taking video streams and feeding them into our AI model and turning that into a 3D video of you and I. It's effectively a light field. So it's kind of an interactive 3D video that you can see from any perspective. That's transmitted over to the second thing, and that's a light field display. And it's happening bidirectionally. I see you and you see me both in our light field displays. These are effectively flat televisions or flat displays, but they have the sense of dimensionality, depth, size is correct. You can see shadows and lighting are correct. And everything's correct from your vantage point. So if you move around ever so slightly and I hold still, you see a different perspective of it. You see kind of things that were occluded become revealed. You see shadows that move in the way they should move. All of that's computed and generated using our AI video model for you. It's based on your eye position. Where does the right scene need to be placed in this light field display for you just to feel present?
It's real time, no latency. I'm not seeing you weren't freezing up at all.
No, I hope not. I think it's you and I together, real time. That's what you need for real communication. And at a quality level
This is
that
awesome.
I think is realistic.
Is it possible to do 3 people? Like, is that going to move that way also?
Yeah, let me kind of show you. So if she enters the room with us, you can see her, you can see me. And if we had more people, you eventually lose the sense of presence. You kind of shrink people down, you lose a sense of scale. So think of it as the window fits a certain number of people. If you want to fit a big group of people, you want, the boardroom or the big room, you need like a much wider window. If you want to see, just grandma and the kids, you can do smaller windows. So everybody has a seat at the table, or everybody has a sense of where they belong, and there's kind of this sense of presence that's obeyed. If you have too many people, you kind of go back to like 2D metaphors that we're used to. People in tiles placed anywhere.
For the image I'm seeing, did you have to get scanned?
I mean, I see you without being scanned. So it's just so much easier if you don't have to wear anything. You don't have to pre-scan. You just do it the way it's supposed to happen without anybody having to learn anything or put anything on.
I thought you had to solve the scanning problem, but here you don't. It's just cameras.
Right.
It's just vision.
That's right. It's video. Yeah, we're not trying to kind of make an approximation of you because everything you do every day matters. I cut myself shaving, I put on a pin, all the little kind of, aspects of you, those just happen. We don't have the time to scan or kind of capture those or dress avatars. We kind of appear as we appear. And so all that's transmitted truthfully as it's happening.
Great. So, how you doing?
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, as Max mentioned, we've got AI glasses here. We start with the foundation of great glasses, something stylish, lightweight, wearable. And we say, how can we build great technology and experiences on top of that? One of the core tenets of the Android XR platform, this idea of a multimodal conversational device, see what you see, hear what you hear. So we've got a camera, you've got speakers, multiple microphones for speaker isolation. I'll give you a chance to try these yourself. Yeah, sorry, I woke it up there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So the first thing you see is a super simple, straightforward home screen.
Yes.
So you probably see the time, the weather, calendar appointments there. This is designed to be sort of your one-stop shop for quick, glanceable information throughout the day. We want it to be something that's easy to get what you need and then go back to what you're doing. So you can imagine turning on the display, getting that quick glance, and then continuing on your way. You can be fully conversational at this point. You can ask questions, for example, about the paintings. You can interrupt. You can ask follow-up questions. And as I mentioned before, if you want to at any time pause, you just tap there on the right.
Gemini, how much does this painting cost?
The painting is called The Bridge of Louis Philippe, 1875, by Armand Guillaumet. It appears to be a print, and it would be impossible to know its cost without finding the seller.
Okay, so this is fake. I understand. Why do humans pay so much money for paintings?
People pay a lot for paintings because of their artistic merit, the artist's fame and season's rarity, and for the appreciation it learns.
So a few more things I want to show you just for sake of time. Would you go ahead and long press on the side again to sleep Gemini there? There you go. Did you catch Google I/O last week by any chance?
Yes.
So you might have seen on stage the Google Maps experience very briefly. I wanted to give you a chance to get a sense of what that feels like today. You can imagine you're walking down the street. If you look up like you're walking straight ahead, you get quick turn-by-turn directions. So you have a sense of what the next turn is like.
Nice.
Keeping your phone in your pocket.
Oh, that's so intuitive.
Sometimes you need that quick sense of which way is the right way.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So let's say you're coming out of the subway, getting out of a cab, you can just glance down at your feet. We have it set up to translate from Russian to English. I think I get to wear the glasses. You speak to me if you don't mind.
I can speak Russian. Привет, друг, как у тебя дела?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Tempted to swear, tempted to say inappropriate things. А ты сразу мой голос слышишь или подождать надо?
I see it transcribed in real time. And so obviously, based on the different languages and the sequence of subjects and verbs, there's a slight delay sometimes, but it's really just like subtitles for the real world.
Cool.
Thank you for this.
All right, back to me. Hopefully watching videos of me having my mind blown like the apes in 2001 Space Odyssey playing with a monolith was somewhat interesting. Like I said, I was very impressed. And now I thought, if it's okay, I could make a few additional comments about the episode and just in general. In this conversation with Sundar Pichai, I discussed the concept of the Neolithic package, which is the set of innovations that came along with the first agricultural revolution about 12,000 years ago, which included the formation of social hierarchies, the early primitive forms of government, labor specialization, domestication of plants and animals, early forms of trade, large-scale cooperations of humans, like that required to build, yes, the pyramids and temples, like Göbekli Tepe. I think this may be the right way to actually talk about the inventions that changed human history, not just as a single invention, but as a kind of network of innovations and transformations that came along with it. And the productivity multiplier framework that I mentioned in the episode, I think is a nice way to try to concretize the impact of each of these inventions under consideration. And we have to remember that each node in the network of the sort of fast follow-on inventions is in itself a productivity multiplier. Some are additive, some are multiplicative. So in some sense, the size of the network in the package is the thing that matters when you're trying to rank the impact of inventions on human history. The easy picks for the period of biggest transformation, at least in sort of modern day discourse, is the Industrial Revolution, or even in the 20th century, the computer or the internet. I think it's because it's easiest to intuit for modern day humans, the impact, the exponential impact of those technologies. But recently, I suppose this changes week to week, but I have been doing a lot of reading on ancient human history. So recently, my pick for the number one invention would have to be the first agricultural revolution, the Neolithic package that led to the formation of human civilizations. That's what enabled the scaling of the collective intelligence machine of humanity, and for us to become the early bootloader for the next 10,000 years of technological progress, which, yes, includes AI, and the tech that builds on top of AI. And of course, it could be argued that the word invention doesn't properly apply to the agricultural revolution. I think actually Yuval Noah Harari argues that it wasn't the humans who were the inventors, but a handful of plant species, namely wheat, rice, and potatoes. This is strictly a fair perspective, but I'm having fun, like I said, with this discussion. Here, I just think of the entire Earth as a system that continuously transforms, and I'm using the term invention in that context, asking the question of when was the biggest leap on the log scale plot of human progress? Will AI, AGI, ASI eventually take the number one spot in this ranking? I think it has a very good chance to do so, due again to the size of the network of inventions that will come along with it. I think we discuss in this podcast the kind of things that would be included in the so-called AI package, but I think there's a lot more possibilities, including discussed in previous podcasts, in many previous podcasts, including with Dario Amodei, talking on the biological innovation side, the science progress side. In this podcast, I think we talk about something that I'm particularly excited about in the near term, which is unlocking the cognitive capacity of the entire landscape of brains that is the human species, making it more accessible through education and through machine translation, making information, knowledge, and the rapid learning and innovation process accessible to more humans, to the entire 8 billion, if you will. So I do think language or machine translation applied to all the different methods that we use on the internet to discover knowledge is a big unlock. But there are a lot of other stuff in the so-called AI package, like discussed with Dario, curing all major human diseases. He really focuses on that in the Machines of Love and Grace essay. I think there will be huge leaps in productivity for human programmers and semi-autonomous human programmers, so humans in the loop, but most of the programming is done by AI agents, and then moving that towards a superhuman AI researcher that's doing the research that develops and programs the AI system in itself. I think there'll be huge transformative effects from autonomous vehicles. These are the things that we maybe don't immediately understand, or we understand from an economics perspective, but there will be a point when AI systems are able to interpret, understand, interact with the human world to a sufficient degree to where many of the manually controlled human-in-the-loop systems we rely on become fully autonomous. And I think mobility is such a big part of human civilization that there will be effects on that they're not just economic, but are social, cultural, and so on. And there's a lot more things I could talk about for a long time. So obviously the integration, utilization of AI in the creation of art, film, music. I think the digitalization and automating basic functions of government and then integrating AI into that process, thereby decreasing corruption and costs and increasing transparency and efficiency. I think we as humans, individual humans, will continue to transition further and further into cyborgs. Sort of there's already a AI in the loop of the human condition, and that will become increasingly so as the AI becomes more powerful. The thing I'm obviously really excited about is major breakthroughs in science, and not just on the medical front, but on physics, fundamental physics, which would then lead to energy breakthroughs, increasing the chance that we actually become a Kardashev type 1 civilization, and then enabling us in so doing to do interstellar exploration of space and colonization of space. I think they're also, in the near term, much like with the Industrial Revolution that led to rapid specialization of skills, of expertise, there might be a great sort of despecialization. So as the AI systems become superhuman experts at particular fields, there might be greater and greater value to being the integrator of AIs, for humans to be the sort of generalists. And so the great value of the human mind will come from the generalists, not the specialists. That's a real possibility that changes the way we are about the world, that we want to know a little bit of a lot of things and move about the world in that way. That could have, when passing a certain threshold, a complete shift in who we are as a collective intelligence, as a human species. Also, as an aside, when thinking about the invention that was the greatest in human history, again, for a bit of fun, we have to remember that all of them build on top of each other. And so we need to look at the delta, the step change on the, I would say, impossibly to perfectly measure plot of exponential human progress. Really, we can go back to the entire history of life on Earth, and a previous podcast guest, Nick Lane, does a great job of this in his book, Life Ascending, listing these 10 major inventions throughout the evolution of life on Earth, like DNA, photosynthesis, complex cells, sex, movement, sight, all those kinds of things. I forget the full list that's on there, but I think that's so far from the human experience that my intuition about, let's say, productivity multipliers of those particular inventions completely breaks down. And a different framework is needed to understand the impact of these inventions of evolution. The origin of life on Earth, or even the Big Bang itself, of course, is the OG invention that set the stage for all the rest of it. And there are probably many more turtles under that, which are yet to be discovered. So anyway, we live in interesting times, fellow humans. I do believe the set of positive trajectories for humanity outnumber the set of negative trajectories, but not by much. So let's not mess this up. And now, let me leave you with some words from French philosopher Jean de la Bruyere. Out of difficulties, grow miracles. Thank you for listening, and hope to see you next time.